Hi, how's it going? Today I'm gonna talk about the different types of chords between the different styles of Brazilian music. And why is this important? Many of you, when search for Brazilian scores or Brazilian lead sheets, we're gonna find some simple chords written, sometimes triads, or some simplifying of the original harmony. And if you know how the harmony behave itself in the different styles, you can see opportunities to make the harmony more richer and get more inside the language. I'm talking about the harmonic language of each style, because like I'm saying in a lot of lives here, we have different melodic languages between the different the different styles, Brazilian styles. And for harmony is the same thing. And why to study the different harmonies if you are an improviser? If I'm studying to improvise better in Brazilian music. And if you know the opportunities and the variations of some kind of chord, you can make your phrases more richer, because you're gonna find opportunities to put notes that you wouldn't put if you just have if you just were seeing the chord that's written. All right, I hope you have did myself clear. And let's talk about some difference between chords, between styles. For example, I have a major triad. Without sound here. I have one major triad here. Let's choose G major. This if I take some traditional languages, for example, Maracatu, a language for an accent from Recife, you won't find chords. You won't find, they just play with percussion, singing with percussion, but hearing the melody, you're gonna find the sensation of these chords. But for example, if I play a Frevo, major triads are common. And if I find the same chord in a baião or forró, and the major chord in various situations of forró and baião can be changed by a dominant chord. I can transform one major chord in a dominant, but it doesn't have, for who knows the harmony, it doesn't have the function of dominant chord. It's just a tasty, a baião tasty, that if you play blues and jazz, you're gonna recognize, because this taste happens in the grades of the chords in blues. You're gonna have C7, for example, G7, C7, and G7. So it's very common in baião when you find a major chord. You can try try if a dominant chord works, because in so many situations it's gonna work. It's a aspect of the language of baião. All right. The same thing for the for choro. When we play choro, we don't have this dominant sensation, this flavor of dominant chords, but it's common if you try to use the sixth. A major chord in choro can find very well with the sixth. There is a, you can put the sixth, and this would be interesting because when you're improvising, you can interpret the sixth as a note of the chord. All right. A little story about that of my life. It's that when I started to study Brazilian music, I was interested. I took a songbook of the most known composer of choro, that is Pixinguinha, and I tried to read his songs with my knowledge. And I studied in a school that teaches jazz, and they told me all the major chords can be changed by major seventh chords, and it doesn't work in chorinho. There are a few melodies that work with major seventh, but the most of them we're gonna work with the major triad or the sixth triad. The sixth triad, major triad with sixths, works very well in chorinho. All right, let's talk about samba. Some sambas has a more sophisticated harmony, and we can change this major chord for, that is a very common chord, it's the 6/9 chord. In Bossa Nova, we're gonna use commonly, instead of the major triad, the major seventh chord with ninth. When the melodies ends on the one or the root of the chord, we stop. We don't use the major seventh, and we prefer to use the sixth. But it's just in this case. If not, we can use the major seventh or create some. I remind one thing of when I was talking, that we can make the alternation between the seventh and the sixth. This is common in a groove that some guitar players, and there is a pianist called César Camargo Mariano that he does this. In some quick sambas too. Common also. Alright, so for Bossa Nova, the most common is the major seventh chord. Alright, I think these styles have important difference. If I forgot someone that it's important for your study, just write on the comments. I'm gonna help you to identify the proper chord. I remind one. When we are playing some styles that uses the major triad, we can create a little richness in the sound of the harmony, putting the ninth also. For example, in Frevo, that has just the triad. I think the ninth has two functions in my mind. It creates a sweeter sound of the major chord, or create a more modern sound. Alright? And speaking of harmony chords, there is one chord that's used sometimes in Bossa Nova It's a different version of the major 7 chord. That is the triad of D over G. With this triad of D major over G, the note G, we create a sensation. We could create a little modern chord because it's missing the third, but doesn't sound incomplete because of the sound of the triad of D. And another modern chord I think it's interesting to you to know, it's, I'm sorry for the noise, it's the triad, to substitute triads with the root in the melody. In some modern contexts, we can use the major 7 with the root on the melody, but without the third. This chord I've learned from the hearing things of the pianist André Memai. He has a modern concept of playing Brazilian music, and in some themes that I discovered these chords when he was playing something about the music of Minas Gerais. It's a music that often uses triads. It's not a language like Bossa Nova does with the major 7th chords commonly played, and it works very well, this major chord. Alright, so these were some major chords that we use and in the language of Brazilian, the different languages of Brazilian music. Let's talk about the minor chords. I'm gonna play the G minor. When we are playing the baião, it's common to use, I would say, the minor chord. I had connection problems. Minor chords in the language in Chords and baião we use in a similar way. I think them in a similar way. All right. It's common. The most common use of them, it's on with the 7th. We can put 7th without being written. All right. And for endings, and when we are in the 4th grade of the harmony of major tonalities and minor tonalities, I used to experiment the minor chord with the major 6th. I think the 6th creates a little darker sound, and sounds very interesting. Try to experiment sometimes in the endings of the chords or in the 4th grades, that sometimes we're gonna sound very, very interesting and richer your harmony. And they are simple harmonies than modern songs, but we have these interesting solutions. Talking about Frevo, I think it's the same thing. We can experiment the 7th and the 6th in the same situations. What would we talk more about? Let's talk about Samba. We would play the same thing. Sometimes more modern sambas, we're gonna put the tensions, and bossa nova also. Bossa nova, it's very we can put the 11th also, 9th and 11th. So it's this is the first chord of Chega de Saudade in the version of the singer I forgot the version. I don't know if it's Milton Nascimento's or Jobim's song. I think it's that. I don't remember it exactly what I've heard, right? But in Bossa Nova, you beside this fourth chord, there is one very interesting sound. We can use for example, the minor 6 with 9 that I think sounds very, very beautifully. When this chord is in the fourth grade, in the fourth grade we can explore this use of the fourth, the 11th. That sounds very much. I've used in a song of mine. Where is it? After I'm gonna talk about this chord. It's a substitution. All right, but. One chord that appears in Bossa Nova we can explore, it's the minor chord with the major 7. Major 7, minor chord with major 7 and 9. And 11th also. It sounds very interesting, and we can explore in some situations. When it's written a minor chord with minor 7, sometimes we have the opportunity of changing the 7ths during the movement. If the melody is out of these notes, is far from these notes, for example, the melody is between the 9th and the 1. C minor 7, and the melody is far from it's not on the 7th, so we can create this sensation here. First it was written, and now we hear If you hear Jobim's music, you're gonna recognize sometimes he sings, he's comping someone, he sings this counter voice, counterpoints, and this Bossa Nova has a lot of opportunities to explore the different 7ths between a minor chord. All right. Okay, I think I think it's and the modern chords. If you're playing a more traditional song and you want to give a little modernization in the sound, use the 9th. It creates a little tension, but beautiful tension that won't make your sound be so far from the original harmony. All right, I think the 9th in major and minor chords, he is neutered. It's neutered because you don't change strongly the sensation of harmony. All right, for some conservatory, I don't know this word, if this is the word, but for there are some ears that are not prepared for so much modern harmonies. The ninth don't cause problem with this kind of ear. All right. And one more chord that has lots and lots of opportunities, and it's the dominant chord. All right, dominant chord has a lot of different interpretations, and I would like to talk about one dominant chord that is present in the Brazilian repertoire. That is the dominant with the seventh on the bass. It's very common in Brazilian modern music. I've told you already in a quick tip about the different chords in Brazilian music, and this is the Águas de Março chord we call. Águas de Março is the song Waters of March by the composer Tom Jobim. I got confused between different tonalities of this song. That's right. So it goes. This chord, it happens in a lot of different Brazilian music. I've shown you in more progression, common progression. And it appears in a reharmonization. Besides being a very Brazilian chord that it's associated with the dominant chords with modern music, alright? And for Baião, you're gonna find we can put in more modern languages, we can put the ninth and the sharp 11, and that is a more stronger chord. We can superpose two different chords. It's F sharp 7 over C7. This is the sound of the altered scale. It's a stronger sound, but if you are improvising in more modern music or you want to create some tension, it's a possibility over the chords of dominant chords in Baião. And in dominants we have the variation between the nines. We can explore the flat 9, the sharp 9, the sharp 14th, the flat 13th, and the major 13th. The just thing we don't we can combine these different tensions, and one important thing I recommend is just to take care of not mixing, for example, the major ninth with one of the altered nines. You can use the major ninth without the other nines, or you can mixture the flat 9 with the sharp 9. They can exist at the same time. Okay, the sharp 11th you can combine with the major 9 or the different 9s of flat and sharp, and the two 13th don't combine with each other. When you choose one kind of 13th note, you don't combine with the flat with the natural 13th. All right. Let me think about something in styles. In Frevo, if you are playing traditional Frevos, the dominant chords you're gonna find just this, then with the 7th, and there are many opportunities to put the flat 9th. This is in the traditional language of Frevo, and it will be inside the language. All right. Let me see. In Choro, it's common to use the major 9 or the flat 9 also. And what else do we have of different? And in Bossa Nova, all that possibilities, all the possibilities happen. There is a different kind of dominant. Sometimes it can be interpreted as a dominant chord, sometimes as major chord. That I remind that's used on the music of Hermeto Pascoal and in the music of Toninho Horta, a composer from Minas Gerais. They use the major 7th chord with the sharp 11th and the sharp 9. And it's a very, very strong chord. It's like B over C. Alright, this is a kind of dominant, can be used as dominant or as major 7th chord, but with a lot of tension. It's very strong. Alright, so I think I have talked enough about the major chords. If something is missing, just write for me. Let's talk about diminished chords. Diminished chords, I always interpret them with 4 notes. In every Brazilian styles, the diminished chord with the 4 notes sound okay. And there is a diminished chord that it's commonly used in modern music or Bossa Nova. That is the diminished with the major 7. Diminish it with the flat 13th and major 7. It's another possibility. I remind the song of Edu Lobo. What is the name? I just my friend says when I forgot something, I searching the keys of the keyboard. And Nego Maluco of the composer Edu Lobo. The song Nego Maluco has this 7th diminished chord with the flat 13th and major 7. They are common in more modern music. Let me show you one example. Diminished chord with major 7th. I think about the diminished chord is just this. And for half diminished or minor chords with the 7th and flat 5th, we can use this. We can use the major 9 with as a tension in more modern languages of Brazilian music. If you're playing more traditional, a forró or frevo or some styles like that, you're gonna play just the half diminished, and the just tension I put is the fourth, the major, the perfect fourth. But if you are wanting to sound more modern, you can explore the major 9. It's a very strong note. About the sus chords. Sus chords, I play them normally, so with that 7th, they are very common, and sometimes I have to, in modern languages, I put the major 3rd, alright? It sounds very interesting. So, I recommend you to hear Brazilian music, trying to, if you have this this capability of hearing and realizing the tensions or the details of a chord, try to pay attention in the different styles, if you find these chords or if you find new ones that I didn't talk in this live. I think that it's very interesting to understand the music, the different styles, like having different languages in melody, in harmony, and in rhythm. And we can say in instrumentation also, in the kind of voice that sings. And this was part of the harmonic language, and I think it's very important to you that are an improviser to know this, because sometimes the harmony can have interesting opportunities to get to take you more inside of the language you are studying. So I hope you have enjoyed this live. And every day I'm here talking about details of how to play Brazilian music in an authentic way, and understanding the details of and the subtle material that make the Brazilian sound different of any style in the world. Alright, thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow for more quick tips and lives. Bye bye.